It's your boy Jamar back with another video, back with another banger. And today I'm reviewing All the Queen's Men Season 5, Episode 1 entitled I See Dead People. We are back for Season 5, the final season, and it's not on Paramount Plus. So we are already #1 on Paramount Plus, so congrats to all the cast and crew members. And honestly, let's just get into this one final ride for the final season of All the Queen's Men. So remember how last season ended with Madam getting shot by an unknown assailant. So we wake up and she's in a hallucination phase. She's hallucinating, and that detective that tried to take her down last season is on her hallucination because she's already dead. So this is her ghost telling Madam, you're probably going to die or you're probably going to live, but this is your second chance for redemption on Madam's head. Back in reality, Tommy is holding Madam's body or whatever and taking her up to the hospital. Her and Blue fall behind, and Tommy's just crying and praying, and Blue's trying to say calm, saying everything's going to be all right, just calm down. Meanwhile, Miss Tandy sees on the news that Madam has been shot, and she's still with Babyface's son. So then she's starting to get suspicious because she's like, she took some pills and she doesn't remember what happened. So she doesn't know if she was the one who actually shot Madam. So she's trying to like figure out, was it her? So even later on in the episode, Babyface's son was looking at the news as well, and he was like, and they were like, oh, if you could find out who shot Madam, it would be a $20,000, reward. So he said, oh yeah, for $20,000, hell yeah. So then Detective Davis is taking on the case, and she ended up calling Miss Tandy over later to talk and basically ask her what's going on. Miss Tandy starts acting suspicious. She ends up hiding her gun and putting it in a safe, and then she leaves, and then Babyface's son is looking for that gun. Meanwhile, Dog, Babyface, El Fuego, Big D, Trouble, Amp, and Dime all arrive at the hospital because, they're concerned about Madam. So then they're all concerned, and, they're trying to see what's going on. They're trying to get a hold of Midnight. Midnight shows up, stabbed up, because you remember what happened last season. He ended up getting stabbed up by that girl, so they ended up getting him some help and assistance there. So while they're waiting on Midnight and Madam, they basically just go to Maddie B's to get something to eat. But Amp and Dime stay behind. So Amp and Dime stay, and then Carla ends up showing up. No, not Carla. Tony ends up showing up, and basically fake crying. So I'm oh, my sister, this and that, and that. And Amp's basically over it because he's like, we know you're this BS, and like, stop it. So then they start arguing, and then Dime gets in the middle of all that, but then she ends up passing out and fainting. So then he rushes Dime to a nurse, and the nurse basically says that she fainted because it's a common during first trimester of pregnancies. And basically Amp overhears this, and he starts getting excited. So then he goes to tell El Fuego that Dime is pregnant. He's excited because he's about to be a father. So then later on in the episode, he's like being extra careful with Dime. She's like, what's going on? Why are you doing all this? Like, are you okay? He's like, I basically overheard the doctor, and I overheard that you're pregnant, and I can't wait to be a father. And Dime's making that look. Little does he know that baby could be Big D's. It could not even be his. So Dime is kind of like, fuck, I messed up. And then while Tony's at the hospital, Carla shows up with that fake sister crying stuff too, and they end up getting into it. And they basically saying that, Carla's basically saying that everything was fine without you here, Tony. You was probably the one who did it. And then Tony's like, no, it was probably you the one who did it. So they basically argue about who shot Madam, basically. So then Detective Davis shows up because she's taking on the case of who shot Madam, and basically she questions Tommy and Blue, and Tommy and Blue are basically like, we didn't shoot Madam, but so you better go out and find out who did and stop wasting your time with us. So then Detective Davis heads over to Club Eden because that's a crime scene now, and Blue follows her behind to make sure she's not snooping around. So she's there, and basically Blue gets there, and she's like, okay, well, you can stay here, but get out of my way. So that's when she calls Tandy along later, and she ends up, telling Tandy, because she's like, well, you're the mayor, and I want you to know everything. She was like, yes, I want you to tell me everything too. She was like, you should do a press conference, and she was like, no, we should wait on that. So basically, she's updating Tandy on everything that's going on with Madam's case. Tommy's over here guarding Madam's bedroom, her hospital room, but then the concierge shows up and he drugs Tommy and passes him out for a few minutes, and he's talking to Madam saying, I tried to warn you, this is what you get, and then he ends up taking the breathing equalizer off of her, but then Madam's dad shows up and basically kissed the concierge out, and Tommy wakes up and he's trying to go after the concierge, but Madam's dad's like, no, just wait, we'll get him. So then, boom, the boys is at Maddie B's chopping it up. So then, Amp can't pay for his not Amp, Babyface can't pay for his food. So then, some random rich lady ends up paying for Babyface's food. They end up chopping it up, and basically, she ends up taking him back to her crib with her fancy car and everything. I don't know if I trust her or not, but I don't know. It's giving a little another Miss Tanny situation. But we gonna keep our eye on that situation. So then, boom. Midnight's this nurse who's nursing him back to health ends up seeing him, and basically she's interested in him, attracted to him, and then she ends up just giving it up in the middle of the room. She takes off her clothes and they end up fucking in a freaking hospital bedroom. I'm like, what the hell? So then Tony sees her dad walking past, but she thinks she's tripping, so she just like pays it no mind, because Tony doesn't know that her dad's still alive. So she's like, "Huh? Like the heck? Ain't no way." So then, boom, that all that happens. So then, during Madam's um hallucination stunts, literally she defeats the lady, the detective lady, and kills her in her hallucination state, and then she ends up opening her eyes, basically confirming she's alive. So Madam is alive, back alive, and I cannot wait to see what happens in episode 2. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys up next for my episode 2 review.